guys, I'm Ryan Fortier with Long Hollow Bird Dogs. Bird dog training is our profession. Bird hunting is our passion. Crazy enough or healthy enough to go chukar hunting with me. So my crowd seems to get younger and smaller as I get older. I'll never take for granted the relationships that I make along the way. I'm excited to have the opportunity to share my hunt season with you. Hopefully you'll find a little entertainment in getting to know some of the guys that I call my hunt buddies. Dallas Murrey is an avid bird hunter. He's a guide, and he manages the Reds hunting program down at the Canyon River Lodge. And Colton Honey is one of their part-time fly fishing guides. He's a full-time fireman and an avid bird hunter, and two of my great hunting buddies, and we had a great time this year, spent a lot of time with them. We got some damn good dog work and some great footage of some of our local hunts here in the Northwest. Did you get one?
Yeah, I dropped one on my first shot.
Oh boy.
Good boy. Good.
See him point.
When you're talking about hunting in general, a lot of our seasons are really short, and I quickly learned that bird hunting seasons are really long. So it gave me an excuse to be in the woods for a longer period of time, whether I was chasing grouse and eventually chasing bird dogs. Begged my wife when we were engaged to get a bird dog, and she said we had to wait until we were married. We got married, and within a few months we had a Brittany Spaniel that I bought off of a guy I met on the side of the road. And the first bird I shot over him was a quail that he didn't even point. It was a covey of quail that he completely busted. A lot of times your first experience with a pointed dog might not be your own, but mine happened to be my own bird dog. And really what that started for me was this long journey of trying to figure out what having a pointing dog actually meant. And for me, in my walk with my Brittany, it led me into becoming a bird hunting guide with reds. I had a great run with that Brittany, ended up losing him at a relatively young age due to a random heart attack. I would say I was addicted to bird hunting, but wasn't sure what the next steps were going to look like. I wasn't planning on him passing so early. I had an acquaintance at the time, Ryan Fortier, who I think was at a CrossFit gym, a CrossFit workout, came up to me afterwards and was like, "Hey, I know you just had a bird dog pass away at a pretty young age. I want to help you out, and I've got some dogs coming, and I'm pretty excited about them." And I looked at him and I was like, man, I'm not really ready yet. And a few months go by and Ryan says, come check out these dogs. I have a setter that I think is a perfect fit for you. Made the mistake of bringing my 6-month-old daughter and my wife over to meet this setter. And we absolutely fell in love with them. Learning what it meant to create an actual bird dog, where we took them from start to finish, was something that I didn't realize I knew nothing about until my relationship with Ryan grew. And at the time he said, I will give you this setter, but I would like to breed it at one point, so I'm going to make it the best setter that's ever walked this earth. And I said, I'm not the best dog owner, so we'll see what happens here. You know, from 8 weeks old all the way to 2 years, we went on to run some field trials, and now I actually can kind of get the full picture of what does it actually mean to take a dog that's bred well, with good natural ability, and with some professional dog training and some help, create, you know, an elite level bird dog. And really, I thought I knew what I was doing when I had a Brittany, and I look back now and realize I had no idea. Moose is an English setter that I think brings a couple of things to the table that I think my Brittany maybe didn't necessarily. He's a very natural backer, and his willingness to retrieve even at a young age. And for me, being new to dog handling, having a dog that naturally wants to retrieve was great. Yeah, I think the thing that just really gets me excited about chukar hunting, and what keeps me coming back year after year, sometimes day after day, the physical challenge that's involved with chukar hunting, which sometimes it's going to mean anywhere from a 6 to 10 to 12 mile hike on terrain where you never feel like you're walking on flat ground. I also kind of like the mental challenge that it gives me and my dogs to go and find these birds that live in terrain that most people would probably never hike. It helps that chukar eat amazing. I love to eat them. My daughter loves to eat them. The joy that you get when you're out with your friends and a covey flushes in front of your bird dogs and you all knock one down and everybody looks at each other, and it's just like that joy that you get to celebrate with your friends out there when it all comes together. If you've never actually literally witnessed a dog being trained, it's very addicting. It's kind of driven a passion to be out here to help Ryan. I've been able to watch 12-week-old puppies till they were a year old. We've had days where we have literally never shot a chucker and probably had some of the best dog work that we've ever witnessed. So I can think of one that Ryan and I had last week of the season. We ran Moose, Daisy, and we ran Sugar, and we moved 7 coveys and shot 1 bird. But it was probably one of the most flawless days of dog work that we've ever seen. And I would say that's the thing that's changed or shifted for me, is I enjoy watching the dogs so much more than I enjoy shooting a chucker. My most enjoyable chucker hunt that I had this year, yes, we shot some chucker that day. I think I did pick up an elk shed that day, but realistically, I think one of the coolest parts was watching some of those younger dogs. We moved a bunch of birds, which was super enjoyable because you were able to literally go from a dog messing up a covey to 30 minutes later a dog sticking a covey and being able to shoot a bird for it. And sometimes you don't get enough bird contact to be able to watch that develop in a hunt. And for me, that hunt, we were able to watch. Denny was on point for a solid 20 minutes on point on a covey chucker, and Sugar came running right on through and blew that covey chucker up. And we were like, oh man, that was kind of a bummer. We didn't get to shoot one for Denny. Not 30 minutes later, you come over the ridge and Sugar is standing there on point. That one just really sticks out for me. I think Colton and I had a double, and yeah, some really enjoyable moments on that hunt.
She's still on point.
Double, baby! Good bird, Cash.
Nice shooting, Colton.
Yeah, thanks.
Who needs a bird dog?
Right there, you just stepped on its head. Still alive, hiding in the bush.
Is it alive?
Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go! Cash, we got her, bud.
This one up.
My name is Colton Honey. I live in Ellensburg, Washington. I got 2 German short hairs named Vetter and Nix. The first place I went bird hunting was in this valley when I was a young kid, and my dad was trying to expose me just to the joys of walking around and getting to follow some dogs around and shooting some birds. And my very first dog was a black lab, a pointing lab. His name was Rocco. From this day, one of the few labs that would truly point to where we could walk past him, and he didn't live too long. We lost him when he was about 7 years old, but Vetter is 4 years old. This season would have been his third true season. I ran him when he was a 5 or 6 month old dog. I didn't kill a lot of birds that year. I was trying to be tricky and trying to just make it happen for the dog, but I was more so stoked just to be following my own dog around, and the opportunity to shoot a bird arose. I was pretty stoked. My second dog, I got her probably 2 years ago now. I started hunting a lot more, and I got tired of only having one dog because I found I was hurting him or he was tired from hunting too much. So it was time for a second dog. Chukar hunting became an addiction for me. I didn't want to pay to shoot any more pheasant. I remembered seeing them when I was guiding fishing alongside the river, and remembered thinking to myself, those things look like they're hard to shoot, and they look like they live in really tough terrain. And then I hunted with Leif and with Bob from Reds for some chucker, and I remembered just thinking, this is super badass and I need to do this a lot more. Yes, if I could do chucker hunting all year round, yeah. I don't know if I'd want to get paid for it, but yeah, no, if I could do it all year round, I would chucker hunt a whole lot more than I'd fish.
Here, Cash. Good, here. Here. Good boy. Leave it. Good boy. That boy. Look at that. They worked hard for those.
That's a nice bird there. What do you say? A great North American shepherd partridge? Is that what they call that?
Look at that.
Thank you. Yeah, you bet.
Get chucks is a term that the first time I ever saw it, I actually read it, and it was on the back of one of Ryan's kennels. It said get chucked, and I kind of laughed in my head. I was like, that's a pretty good term, right? Far too often in chukar hunting, a lot of things can go right, and then there's that 1%. Even when everything goes right, those birds are going to get up out of range. Right when you get there, they get up out of range, and I swear that's almost what they say when they're flying away from you is get chucked. They're just like, see ya. They say you hunt chukar the first time for fun and every other time for revenge, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. Really good. He's on the cast.
Nice shooting, boys.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Here. Cash here. Thank you. Good boy. Another bird.
Dead bird. Oh, right there, dead bird.
Good boy. Good boy.
Nice, dude.
Let's get this son of a back here. Just want to get a close up of it. Nice.
Dude, shooting good today, hey?
Oh, you got that one. Nice, good job. I missed. Nice shot, dude. Thank you. Good shot. Good boy. Here. Good boy here. Bad dog. Bad boy. Good boy. Hey. Because he's tired and his tail went whoop, I was like, I know there's birds there. There you go.
Getting chucked, it means that the chucker's living up to its every expectation, every stereotype. They're hard birds, they live in epic habitat, and so there's a lot of things stacked against us. It was the last day of the season, and it seemed like the birds just always knew we were coming. They were flushing from across the draw before dogs could even get near them. And I remember we got to about lunchtime, and we had only killed a couple of birds that just flew the wrong way. We were tired, our feet were hurt, the dogs' feet were tore up, and we were pretty close to calling it a day, but instead we grabbed the old dogs, and the whole day kind of turned around once we took a break and we went back out, and we ended up getting an upper hand, and we almost shot limits for a couple guys, and they ended up doing it right. But the whole morning I was thinking to myself, I was like, these damn birds.
Cash is on point. 109 yards. Did you hear those birds getting up? They were a little far, but body's on point. 200 yards. Finally. Good job. Right here, good boy, here. Here. Good dog. Oh. That might be the biggest chucker I shot this year. Look at that big boy. Leave it. Look at that. That's a big chucker. That can feed two. That could feed us both for lunch. Nice. That was great. Lottie had 3 finds and Cash had 2 finds. Looping down through that canyon and coming back up. We could not get close to the first 3-4 coveys. Finally, a straggler.
Some days it's not about going out with my buddies. Some days it's about just me and my dogs. Every year it seems like I have a couple of puppies that just need some development, and it's more fun for me to go out with them by myself. I don't have to worry about the pressure of impressing anybody or the distraction of having other dogs or other people. I like to sacrifice a few hunts every year where I'm not too concerned about shooting birds, and I just want to give puppies opportunity to find birds.
Got it. Dogs found it actually, but I wasn't confident they were gonna, so I hiked my ass down there. Based on our location, I thought they were chukars, but turns out they were Huns. There's nothing better than watching puppies develop. Good job, guys. Here. Oh, we got it. We got it. Get the hole. Get the hole. We weren't really ready with the camera because we weren't sure what he was doing, but Jet wanted another covey. This time it was chukars. We're tracking them now. There's shit everywhere. What a boy. What a boy. Good dog. What a boy. Sometimes you just got to deal with the growing pains of puppies. But to get 3 birds while we're out here running puppies, I'd say that's a good day.
I was also lucky enough to take a trip this year down to Northern California and then continue my adventure on to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where it was an absolute pleasure to finally meet in the flesh a guy by the name of Brit Forrester, who owns Skedaddle Setters. And him and his wife were so hospitable. They put me up, and I was able to spend at least one day chukar hunting with Brit.
That California sun's gonna burn off this frost real quick.
It will. Yeah. California gold sun. It's a balmy 19 degrees right now.
Yeah, that's not warm. I'm starting to get a little anxious to see a dog on point.
I am too. Those came off the top back at us.
Right there, right there.
I'll be standing by you. Well,
Nice shot, bro.
I was hoping for red legs, buddy.
I know, that's what I was hoping for, but
I'm like, oh, little guys will take one.
He was on point for so long. Right there. Nice, finally a chucker.
Look at the spurs in it, man.
Yeah.
The icing on the cake for this season was my trip down to New Mexico, where I was able to finally hunt and shoot my first Mearns quail. I can't say enough about Tyler Sladen and his wife Lane. For lack of a better word, their place is basically a hostel for bird hunters. They open up their home to just about anybody who has a passion for bird dogs and bird hunting, and it wasn't any different when I showed up. Had a great time, great people, great bird dogs, great bird hunting. My goal going down there was to obviously shoot my first Mearns quail, but also to do some filming. I'm very intrigued by his falconry. Tyler was very patient with me. Originally I had talked to him about coming down there to film, and I intended to do as much, but when I got down there, that kind of took a back seat at first, because the first few days were really tough hunting. Sending conditions weren't great, and we were having a hard time finding birds. But if you know me, I don't have any quit in me. I think Tyler was a little concerned at first that I might quit, but we didn't. And on day 4, we finally found some Mearns quail, and it ended up being a world-class hunt that I will never forget. It was a breath of fresh air to meet somebody with a parallel passion for bird dogs and the same expectations and standards that we have for our dogs. He holds his dogs too as well, and it made for some great hunting. There was no friction between us at all when we took the field, and no friction between the dogs. Everybody fed off of each other. Everybody was well trained and experienced and did a good job, and that just made it fun. It was relaxing, and when we did have opportunities to point birds, we were able to capitalize because the dogs did a good job, and everybody just worked well together. Anyway, after we were able to finally find the Mearns quail and kind of get that monkey off of our back, I was able to relax a little bit and focus on the other reason I went down there, and was able to roll the camera and follow Tyler around in the evenings. He's very dedicated to his falconry. When I was down there, he had a new bird, so he was doing some training, but it was still fun to follow him around and get some film. You will not find a more avid bird hunter with as much free time as he has to go bird hunting anywhere in the world. Those two things equate to some pretty amazing adventures, and he's been fun to watch. I met him through social media. We had a common bond, not only with bird dogs and bird hunting, but also with photography. I had a great time talking to Tyler about his falconry. I learned a lot, and here's my conversation with him, and I hope you enjoy it.
Do you train that bird literally every day?
Yeah, every
Without skipping a day?
that is me. Yeah, I don't. When I have a goshawk flying, once I start, I don't stop. Now, when they're an adult bird, like he said, he was born this year, so he's what we would call a brown bird, baby bird. There's a lot of different words for it, but because he's a baby, I don't skip. Now, if he was an adult, I know what I can get away with, and like generally you want to eat to fly every day, but like you kind of sacrifice the first year of their life to like make sure that they learn everything they can learn while those developmental windows are open.
If somebody's going to get into falconry, how do you go about acquiring a bird?
So when you're an apprentice, when you're learning falconry, you get a sponsor. He's a master falconer, and you've taken your tests, you've had your facilities inspected by Game and Fish, and then you get a permit in hand, and then you would do what we're doing right now and go find some power poles or something, look for some red tails. We would go trap a juvenile red tail. Like, we can't trap adults of any species, but we could trap a per the year. And so we would go get you a red tail, you take it home, and you'd start training it. And like call me every day and let me know what it's doing. And you would go over like, okay, this is what it's doing. This is what you want it to do. And here's what you should aim to do tomorrow. And so once you're catching game with that bird for 2 years, or you would upgrade to a general class falconer, and then you don't eat me anymore. Granted, you should have a relationship with your sponsor for many years past your apprentice years. I've caught probably almost 1,000 quail at this point in my life with goshawks. And I still like, if I'm having like a weird behavior quirk, like Mike, something's going wrong, help me. And he's like, it's just that's the kind of relationship you should have with your sponsor.
So how did you acquire this particular bird?
So this bird, he came from a breeding program, so he's out of an import bird. So
he wasn't caught out of the wild?
No, he's a captive bred bird. And like once I'm done hunting him, they want him back for the breeding program.
Okay.
So I got really lucky. Like, Nicole Peretta's an awesome human. And when my last goshawk died, she like harassed me every week, and she's like, "Did you find a bird to fly? Did you find a bird to fly?" And goshawks like don't become readily available very often, and so she found me one out of her project to fly.
Do you find that better or worse? Like a bird that's raised in captivity versus one that you catch out of the wild? Is there a difference?
Yeah, no, there's a huge difference. But you could hand raise a wild trap bird too, like a wild taken bird too. So we call those imprints.
Yeah.
So I largely prefer imprint birds. So when I say imprint, bird that's raised from 8 to 10 days old and in human care its whole life. So, and yeah, wild birds know a lot more and like they're fun to train. But like as for goshawks, I want to teach them to catch quail over dog point with a bunch of people watching, like, so the odds of getting a passage like wild taken goshawk that's trapped as it's already feeding itself, to do all that is a lot lower.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is imprints tolerate the heat better because they're less stressed. And so where I live, it gets pretty warm, I mean, you could be in falconry your whole life and never touch the surface of what's available. Like, for example, just for like deer, you could fly goshawks on quail, doves, jackrabbits, cottontails. You go to the mountains and hunt squirrels, and then more you could fly red tails, harris hog, bull eagles on all the different jackrabbits and rabbits we have. You could fly falcons on ducks here. You could fly smaller falcons on quail here, like Carlins, and like male peregrines or male prairie falcons. Like I just described like a lifetime's worth of things that you could try, and just New Mexico alone.
Yeah, I could certainly see where you have enough going on that you have no reason to be bored.
No. And honestly, like I just really enjoy hunting quail over bird dogs. Like it's a different kind of hunt. Like it's more stressful than shooting the gun because at that point it's an orchestra. Like I'm paying attention to the quail, I'm paying attention to 2, maybe 3 dogs, and then I'm paying attention to my bird, and then I gotta like take myself into account, and all of that, and like you're controlling all of that, and like I know some people that do it on horse and mule.
Yeah.
So like now you have 3 species of animals that you're training and controlling all at once.
Yeah, that's a lot going on.
And to chase one other species. You can't be a baby goshawk at 10 days old. I'm probably killing wild game at 70 to 80 days old.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that with a puppy.
No, for sure.
Now, like,
For sure.
a puppy bird dog is a 2.
But you are like, what I mean by attrition, I think, is you really are like training with that bird's instincts as opposed to against its instincts in like.
Yes and no. Like, for example, like goshawks are a woodland species. They hunt things in the woods from trees, perches.
Yeah.
Now I'm walking the open grassland as if the tree is my fist. Like, so like, yes, kind of, but also like, and I'm like forcing the bird to hunt in a drag race fashion where a quail flushes, bird chases, whereas most wild birds ambush. Like when I have a dog on point, a dog honoring, and then a little yak terrier sitting there waiting, just starting to like build steam, and then I say free and she runs in and flushes, and then your bird catches off and cover your eyes. Like that is the dragon I chase every single day with the fox. And whether it happens or not, I mean, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when it does, like, man, I am driving home with like a ear-to-ear grin, like it does. And don't get me wrong, I love shooting birds over good dog work, especially with friends. But the reward falconry gives me when it goes right is what I chase it into today. You know?
Well, I can appreciate that, and I totally appreciate that word, fulfillment. That's something that I talk with people a lot about, talk with my wife a lot about, like, and I relate it directly to one of the other phrases I use a lot is peace of mind. Like, the thing that makes people happy is that fulfillment in their life, and sometimes that leads them to peace of mind, where you have peace in your life, and oftentimes that comes from doing things that fulfill you. And I finally found it really took me probably 35 years of living on this earth to feel fulfilled in my career as a dog trainer. And it's come more recently when I realized that for me, it was just pointing dogs and chasing upland birds and traveling and sharing that passion with other people. That's where I get my fulfillment. Did you start bird hunting with a shotgun first and then get into falconry, or is it the opposite way?
No, I didn't really start bird hunting until like falconry came first. And then I realized that falconry is really not the best way to train a bird dog. So you give a dog a lot of freedoms because you're worried about your bird. The bird is priority number one, you know? So I got, once I realized that, I started, okay, like I'll just change the chokes out on my turkey gun and start shooting over my dogs. And then I was like, wow, like this is actually a lot more relaxing and a lot more fun, you know?
Yeah.
And then like bird hunting with a shotgun is a social thing too. Like just going for a hike with a shotgun and a bunch of friends and you're shooting birds and appreciating good dog work. So like,
yeah,
now I've just come to love all of it. So
this year we were also joined by my good buddy Tyler Bell, who probably chukar hunts more than anybody I've ever met in my life. A lot of places you chukar hunt, you got to hike in and hike out. We were able to do a drop hunt this year. We started at point A, but we had dropped a vehicle at point B, and it ends up being like a 14-mile hike, but it's basically an all-day chukar hunt, and it was one of the best hunts we had this year. And we turned loose a bunch of great dogs, and the hunt started off kind of slow. Oftentimes we get chucked because the birds aren't holding. I think the birds get a fair amount of pressure. True to form on this hunt, it started pretty slow, and in that the dogs were finding birds and we were having a hard time getting close to them, and we got great dog work. Dogs were stopping to flush and backing each other and relocating great all day. The hunt started off a little slow, but it got a lot better towards the end, and it ended up being one of the best hunts we had all year.
She's not interested in it right now. She's focused on the
Tyler begging his dog to drink water.
Nope.
Sometimes when you need a place to put your summer sausage,
Always loaded.
hashtag funnel rise.
I think we ended up hiking ourselves close to 15 miles that day, which to me is awesome. I mean, there's nothing that beats putting in that kind of work and being able to sit at the tailgate at the end of the day and feel like you've done something and accomplished something. We had a really solid group of dogs down that day. I mean, I would say all kind of finished, completed dogs. Can remember having multiple dogs go on point, getting notifications, and we had the setter and pointer go off, and they were probably 200 yards to our right, and we're walking up on that, and then all of a sudden we're getting another notification that my short hair and another dog are on point another few hundred yards the other direction. And so you kind of have that classic situation of which way do I go. And it was cool because both situations, all the dogs were on point. The ones that weren't on point were backing, and we had a covey in one spot and another covey in the other, and the covey we got to, we're able to shoot over my short hair. I think we got 3 birds out of that, so that was a pretty fun experience. It's just enjoyable being out with friends and people who like to do that, who like to put in the work, that are willing to hike with you and have good dogs and do what they're supposed to around birds. It just makes for a real enjoyable experience.
Tyler, somebody got one.
I got one.
Nice shot, Tyler.
Hey, the gun works.
Nice job, guys.
I killed one in the bottom.
Go get it.
I don't know if that's
Here. There you go, friend. Danny, here.
Oh, what a dog.
Let's see
Good
that thing.
dog.
Let's see that thing, bro. Nice.
I didn't really get to watch it that good.
I just want Ryan to know that I can hit birds every now and then.
So I didn't grow up hunting, but the first time I went out, I was actually an adult, and I had a friend who grew up over near Heartline, Washington, Elmira, Cooley area. He said, hey, let's go shoot some ducks. You know, there's some quail out there, and went out there for the first time and thought this is pretty fun. I have 3 dogs. I have Uda, who's a German short-hair pointer. She's about 8 years old. I have Josie, who is a French Brittany. She's about 4 years old, I think. Yeah, 4 years. And then I've got a puppy named Maisie, who is a German Shorthair. I've hunted with a lot of different dogs. I fell into German Shorthairs more by happenstance. I kind of just liked the way they looked originally. I didn't know a lot about other dog breeds, and it just seemed like this is just like a pretty good solid bird dog from the little bit of research I had done. The reason I've stuck with it and went back to a short hair is, number one is my wife doesn't like long hair. That's the rule number one, and she's pretty awesome about allowing me to have these dogs in my life, and they kind of go from being bird dogs to companions, and they're in the house a little bit and some of that stuff, and she does not want long hair. I have dreams of a setter maybe one day, but I'm gonna have to get past the long hair situation. But I just feel like short hairs, they are a bit crazy and neurotic sometimes. I find it to be kind of amusing and funny as part of their personality, but I think that the hit rate on them is pretty high. Like, there's obviously good short hairs and bad short hairs, but all around, you're probably likely to have a pretty decent bird dog if you put in the work and raise it right and do the things you're supposed to do with the short hair. They're naturally gonna have pretty high drive and want to point, do all the things that you would want out of a bird dog. And
got that one.
Right in the middle of the hill. Keep your eye on it. It's
Got
good.
it.
Those are Huns.
Yeah. Guys.
Good boy. That up, baby. Here.
Yeah, if you, it's like right
Give.
that
Give.
middle screen field right here, like straight ahead. I'll tell
This
you.
thing is not going to replenish the calories that we spent to get it, but the enjoyment is there. Dead bird. Right here. Here.
Dude,
Here.
that was a poke.
Keep getting after him.
Here.
Up, like right before I pulled the trigger, like right as I was pulling the trigger.
Here.
And then it took a while for me to get it like swung back around. Oh, I was hoping they were
Right here.
They were chukar, and I was gonna be just sitting it pretty down here. And as soon as I saw them flushing,
Right here.
I'm like, not look like they were going very far. All right, guys.
Here.
All on the board. Here we go.
You know what that means?
Boy, here. Boy, here. Here.
He can give it to you. Perfect.
Need it. Good boy, move.
Nice little 3-point. My wife likes them on the dinner table.
Ryan got one. Ryan dumped one right here. I see Blake's to the right.
Right here?
I think so.
Here. Further down. I got it. Hey, Dallas.
To make chicken.
The reason why I've kind of gravitated towards chukar hunting, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, first and foremost, if you want to hunt public land and just get out where I live, your best bet is finding some public land above the river canyons and places like that that you can just go access and start hiking, and there's chukar to be found. So it's a little bit of an access thing, but you know, before I got into hunting, I was always into athletics and sports, and then after that stuff was over and after school, it was working out and just doing that type of stuff. And so I felt like chukar hunting is kind of the perfect melding of passions, of like fitness. If you're into hiking and wanting to stay fit, you like wing shooting, I love dogs, it's like it kind of just melds all of that together for me, and it's just become a real passion. I think all bird hunting's fun, and it just, you know, none of it's not fun, but there's something about the work that goes into finding chukar and the hike that's involved, and being in an open terrain and the views and seeing a dog go in point in that scenario is just it's a beautiful thing to me, and it's just something I fell in love with. And
Oh.
Oh, there's a bunch.
Oh, more getting up over there.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
More up on top.
Okay.
Ooh, those ones are going right on the rocks.
I think we need to pin this spot.
Yeah, in it.
I should have brought another box of shells. You guys get any?
No.
How many did you get? 2.
So you've got 4 or 5?
I got 4 birds.
Oh, you killed that one.
Out of shells, boys.
Here.
Here.
Most here.
I got a bird down over here. I'm gonna need a dog.
Here. Thank you. Thank you.
Long way from the goose blind, aren't you, Blake?
Yeah, this is
this is a little different for sure. Right here's where that hair got up. That was a little long.
Get chucked. What does that mean? So I think it can mean something different to whoever you ask, but it's also one of those, if you know, you know. Some people look at chucker as a 4-letter word or a curse word, and it rhymes with another one that's pretty well known and used. And you know, it's just like, to be into chucker hunting, you gotta kind of enjoy pain a little bit. You gotta enjoy going out and struggling and putting in the work and getting your heart rate up. And there's some people, and I get it, there's nothing against it if that's not your thing. If you want to just go kind of walk some flat ground and find birds and have a nice enjoyable walk, that's more power to you. I got nothing against you. That can be fun for me too. But you gotta, with chucker hunting, enjoy a little bit of the pain. And then when you get to that top of the ridge, or you work hard to get to that, and you see those birds jump early or something go down that hill, it's like, here we go, just one more ridge, walk down, back up, and that's getting chucked to me. Is at the end of the day, if your legs are a little wobbly.
Here they go.
I'm gonna sit down a minute, okay? Is that cool?
Those things sound perfect.
Good dog, here. Good boy, over here. Good boy, here. Ah, dog, what a dog. What a good dog you are. What a day, man. Maybe the best chucker hunt of the year? I don't know.
I would say so.
Oh man. So rad.
Beautiful chucker.
Another one. All right.
Nice work, Denny.
Back down to the river.
As I get older, as a bird dog trainer and as a bird hunter, is having the opportunity to pay my experience and my knowledge forward. And I think that's what this is about, and why I'm enjoying this group of people so much. They seem to indulge me. I enjoy being around them. Dallas is a family man who's very passionate about bird dogs and bird hunting. I was given the opportunity to help him when he lost his one and only bird dog a few years back with one of our long hollow setters, and that's just turned out to be a great deal. And he's now a welcome part of our family and becoming a better dog trainer and bird dog handler every day. He's also willing to jump behind the camera once in a while, which I really appreciate. Colton Honey, what can I say about him, man? He's just like the nicest guy I've ever met. The guy never gets too excited. He's super laid back, has a great time whether we shoot birds or not. He appreciates the dog work as much as we do, and he's just a real joy to hunt with. Tyler Bell, he's the one guy who's willing to hike as far as I am. I wouldn't go as far as to say he can out-hike me, but I would say he's younger and he's in better shape, so he probably can. If there's anybody who's crazy enough to chucker hunt as much as and the way that I do, it's Tyler Bell. Tyler's relatively new to bird hunting, but you go chucker hunting with him one time and you wouldn't know it. Also want to give a shout out to my good friend Rick Roll. Rick is the one who coined the phrase "get chucked." I had no idea at the time. He's been an old friend of mine for a long time. He was the one person that was friends with my dad that I actually liked. Really an avid quail hunter. Anytime I ask Rick to go chucker hunting, I can sense his hesitation. It had been a few years since I had seen him or talked to him. He reached out and we hooked up, and a couple of years ago I invited him to go chukar hunting. He reluctantly said yes, and actually he's a fabricator, he's a really good welder, and we were trying to figure out a way to get up into this area that we hunt with more dogs, and so he fabricated this platform to put on his side-by-side that we could mount dog boxes on. And when he did that, he saw the brackets on my dog boxes, so he went back to his shop and he had fabricated some new brackets to give me as a gift that said "Get Chucked." I think that was his way of saying "Get fucked" when I asked him to go chukar hunting. I thought it was kind of funny. I hadn't thought about it at the time. So thanks, Rick Roll, for coining the phrase "Get Chucked," and you're welcome at Chukar Camp anytime.